For decades, the Midwest represented the last version of the traditional American housing dream: stable prices, modest wages, reasonable monthly payments. While coastal cities boomed and collapsed in cycles, the heartland moved slowly. It was dependable, predictable, affordable. But over the past few years, something unusual has happened. The region that previously symbolized stability has quietly become one of the most distorted housing markets in the country, and almost nobody is talking about it. With home prices in the Midwest soaring since 2020, it is the history of its contemporary existence. In cities such as Indianapolis, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, and Detroit, price acceleration has been observed, which was considered unrealistic just 5 years ago. To understand why this is important, we require context. The emphasis on the Sunbelt when housing booms started during the pandemic. Austin, Phoenix, Tampa, Southwest Florida, these markets experienced rampant growth due to migration, telecommuting, low interest rates, and hyper-development. Today, most of such markets are rectifying themselves. Inventory is rising, builders are discounting, price growth has reversed. However, the trend has been otherwise in the Midwest. Prices have not reached their peak and then corrected. Rather, they have kept climbing. In the annual change of home prices on year-on-year maps, a large portion of the Midwest is on the positive side, whereas other areas are cooling. This seems on the surface to be resilience. Strength and perversion may be indistinguishable at first. The muted rise of the Midwest can be explained by how data are reported. More often, when economists refer to cities such as Cleveland or Detroit, they use city proper figures. However, many home consumers are not buying within city limits. They're shopping in the adjacent suburban counties. The disparity among those markets is high. The core cities of many Midwestern cities experience higher crime rates and worse school performance indicators. In the 10 to 20 miles of suburbs, the reverse is frequently the case. School districts that perform well, low crime rates, neighborhoods of stable middle classes. That is where the demand has been concentrated, and that is where inventory has disappeared. When urban cores are stagnant, metropolitan data equalize them with suburbs that are far more competitive, which, in fact, is a steep suburban price acceleration. Take an example of a suburban county in the Cleveland metro region. At the beginning of 2019, a typical home was estimated to be worth about $125,000. In 2026, the same house will fetch about $206,000. That is a 64% increase. That type of appreciation is not insignificant in a region with low population growth and low wage increases. It is not the capital flooding on a large scale. It is the acceleration of prices in areas that were traditionally characterized by low growth. The following question is, what was fueling it? One solution can be found within institutional investors. Since the principal metros saw their yields narrow, investors turned to affordable single-family rentals. Low prices and consistent rent potential characterized the Midwest. Although it did not dominate in all areas, investor activity was more substantial amid the pandemic. Advantageous rates permitted investors to climb. Local purchasers were not only competing with one another, but also with the capital that considered Midwest homes as yield vehicles. Meanwhile, supply was still limited. Home builders have not made major investments in the Midwestern markets since the Great Financial Crisis. The figure to be used in a balanced suburban county of average size is 600 to 1,000 new permits per year. Rather, most Midwestern counties have been closer to 300 per year. Building activity has been subdued, aside from the brief spikes in 2020 and 2021. This formed what may be termed a supply desert. Decade-long construction pauses result in price elasticity even with relatively small demand growth. That is one of the reasons for the surge, but it fails to explicate the strain of today. The pressure is better seen through monthly payments rather than prices. Mortgage rates have increased approximately twice as much since 2019. Coupled with rising home prices, the standard monthly mortgage payments in certain Midwestern suburbs have increased by as much as 80%. In the past, Midwestern families spent approximately 15% of their gross monthly earnings on mortgage payments. Nowadays, the number is nearer to 22%. According to national standards, 22% might not seem extreme. However, compared with historical trends in the Midwest, it's a significant change. And that change is important since wage increases in these areas have not been proportionate. The Midwest lacks income growth comparable to that of the high-growth Sunbelt cities. Population growth is stagnant in most counties. Job growth has been slow, not explosive. This provides an affordability stretch, but without the income buffer found elsewhere. There's another layer: quality. Most of the housing stock in the Midwestern suburbs is from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. These properties tend to have smaller plans, worn-out infrastructure, and makeover requirements. The inventory at a given point in time may be thin. The number of single-family homes actively listed may be less than 100 in some counties. However, a large part of that inventory needs worthy upgrades. When a more modernized or refurbished home comes to market, bidding intensity is high. Where possible, new construction tends to be priced at above $400,000. This creates a mismatch. Monthly payments buyers are making on homes are at an all-time high, and the homes in question may, in most cases, need additional capital. Conversely, aggressive competition among builders is being experienced in most Sunbelt markets. Southern builders are having rate buy-downs, closing costs, and price cuts. New supply puts downward pressure. The same builder volume is lacking in the Midwest. Since supply growth has been limited, homeowners will still retain pricing power. But wage growth without leverage encumbers. When the percentage pay increases with income, then buyer participation decreases. To date, the Midwest transaction market has been more stable than most coastal markets. However, affordability is under greater strain. Take Detroit, for example. Post-recession trough, it was possible to find an entry-level dwelling with monthly payments of around $300. The entry-level category today is about 4 times more expensive. A part of that is economic normalcy and inflation. However, after 2022, the payment curve has become less closely associated with income growth. The Midwest was not spared from the housing cycle. It entered it later, and in a way, lateness brings vulnerability. In high-growth Sunbelt markets, correcting the business responsiveness of the builders is prompt. Supply increases, prices adjust. In the Midwest, visible correction is retarded by a lack of competition by builders. The region is unlikely to witness dramatic price falls. Instead, something else will happen. Transaction freezes, affordability plateaus, slow, grinding pressure. Supply behavior is the most important variable to monitor. If the builders re-enter the Midwestern markets in good faith, the excess inventory would bring prices down. When supply is strong and demand is weak, the volume may decrease without major changes in nominal values. The Midwest is not undergoing a crash. It is, however, passing through the most affordable period it has had over the last 20 years. The place that was once considered cheap is now more expensive than local basics. That distinction matters. Coastal speculation is not necessary to bring an imbalance to housing cycles. They demand a disequilibrium between price, earnings, and supply. That disproportion is apparent in the Midwest today. Whether it will be solved by slow income growth, constant rates, or slight price redress is yet to be determined. But the presumption that housing distortion cannot occur in the heartland is no longer true. The Midwest is not the most vocal market in the country, and yet it can be one of the silent tensions. Still, it is one of the most crucial areas to consider in the coming years.